Well, I'd like to apologise. Councillor Friel, would you like to speak?
I just want to say that I can't possibly support this motion. And I think it's worthwhile, if everybody had a look at the statue downstairs, which is of Thomas Drummond, that says, property has its responsibilities as well as its rights. I may not be quoting it exactly as it is, but I think we would do well to remember that, and that we take those kind of responsibilities seriously. Councillor Heaney mentioned about rehab. And I really want to point out that, they were in contact with me asking if I would support, so they could have residential on the site. And this is Roslyn Park, which was a secondary school before that, and it's a training centre. And I said, why? And they said, so that we can use it as collateral in the bank. Can I tell you, rehab is funded handsomely by FOSS, by the Department of Health, by the European Social Fund, very handsomely, and they have the power to fundraise. Now, the CEO, who is the main fundraiser for Fianna Fáil, and I can understand why Councillor Heaney was so concerned to try to get her point across, that I think it's got to be said that, well, that I think it has to be said that that when it was pointed out that only so many houses were built during the last period of the development plan, sure, all of these institutions already had planning permission. And they were built during that period of time. I mean, take St Anne's in Milltown alone, which is 600 apartments have been built there on ground that was a school. So 600 plus all the whole area don't have a school anymore. And that's the kind of thing that has been happening. And it's all been said before, and I'm not going to say any more because I think there's no point in repeating what's been said.
That's okay.
Lord Mayor, just on a point of order, I would like to dip myself from Councillor Bill Tommy's remarks, which I find were rather, uncalled for. Excuse me, Lord Mayor, which are uncalled for. Excuse me, it's not a debate. They were uncalled for in relation to his attack on those who have beliefs and have faiths. I think his own personal remarks in relation to that he should contain within himself. They're not for this chamber. Really and truly, there are people out there who would be deeply offended for such a statement emanating from this chamber, particularly me. Okay, I want to distance myself. As I said, it's not a debate around congregations of religious or faith-based. It's about property. It's about development.
Okay. The manager is going to come in now. No. That's sorry. No. It's only words. It's only words. I'm going to allow the manager in now, and then we're going to put it to a vote. Sorry, Bill, I'm not. Manager.
The chamber.
Through the chair, I suppose my interventions have been, rare tonight. But I think this is important because I just want to clarify a couple of things. Reference to the likes of St Anne's. St Anne's was actually, the zoning was changed to Z12 by the council previously, so that should be recognised. And I think there's some mix-up between areas that were zoned from Z15 to Z12. It has to be remembered that the primary use is still institutional. And what we're talking about here is making residential, as it was, open for consideration. The actual figure was 54 units built. I don't have the permissions figure off the top of my head, but during the currency of the 2005 plan to date. So I think it's on the question of the law officer that Councillor Flynn raised. That would have to be, I believe you have the right to make the decision. That's the advice we have. But that's not to say a case might be taken, and that would be down to the courts.
Okay, we've had a request for a roll call vote.
Open to consideration. Can someone explain that to me?
I think it is what it says. The planners can. It's one option that the planners have. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. We've had a request for a roll call vote. Do we have 5 members standing? Yes. Okay. Okay. So this motion covers 3040. 3039
to 3042.
3042. Is that
that accepted?
Manager?
Lord Mayor.
In favour.
Councillor Paddy Burke.
Against.
Councillor Tom Brabazon. Not present. Councillor Christy Burke. Councillor Claire Byrne. Not here. Councillor Eric Byrne. Councillor Julia Carmichael. Not present. Councillor Anya Clancy. Councillor Joan Collins. Councillor Michael Conahan. Not present. Councillor Emer Costello. Councillor Pat Crimmins. Not present. Councillor.
No, he is.
Sorry, sorry, beg your pardon. 4. Councillor Desi Ellis. Councillor Mary Fitzpatrick. Councillor Declan Flanagan. Councillor Mannix Flynn. Councillor Killian Ford, not present. Councillor Mary Freehill. Councillor John Gallagher. Councillor Deirdre Heaney. Councillor Kevin Humphreys. Councillor Vincent Jackson. Councillor Sean Kenny. Councillor Dermot Lacey. Councillor John Lyons. Councillor Ray McAdam. Councillor Paul McAuliffe. Councillor Rory McGinley. Councillor Seamus McGrattan. Councillor Marie Metcalfe. Councillor Louise Minahan. Councillor Andrew Montague. Councillor Rebecca Moynihan. Councillor Owen Murphy. Councillor Crean Donnelly. Councillor Catherine Noon. Councillor Jim O'Callaghan. Councillor Damien O'Farrell. Councillor Nisha Murray. Councillor Claire O'Regan. Councillor Ayan O'Riordan. Councillor Mary O'Shea. Councillor Larry O'Toole. Councillor Marie Parodi. Councillor Kieran Perry. Councillor Oisin Quinn. Councillor John Redmond. Councillor Neil Ring. Councillor Breed Smith. Councillor Bill Tormey. Councillor Henry Upton, not present. Councillor Edie Wynne. Thank you.
So the motion is defeated 21 to 24, and that covers motions 3040 and 3041 and 3042 and 3043.
Yeah. My understanding is now that that actually takes out 4.3 and 4.4, but I would be open for correction.
I think that's right. And Lord Mayor, I suppose strictly speaking, the motion that should be recorded as being passed is actually 3042, because we have to proactively put it back in to reverse the manager's recommendation. In other words, we voted on your motion, Lord Mayor, but your motion was only endorsing the manager's recommendation. So strictly speaking, 3042, which is Councillor Smith, Perry and Collins' motion, it needs to be recorded as having been passed. But assuming everyone's agreed that 3042 has been passed, because we have to put.
Well, no, let's be good about this. 3042. Those in favour of 3042. Well,
come on, Lord Mayor. It's you know.
You're the senior counsel. I can't argue with you.
Look, the reality of it, Lord Mayor, is by voting that.
You raised it.
Of order. We were voting on your motion. So if somebody wants to change it around, I'm afraid they're. Excuse me, I'm speaking. They're bound by the rules of this chamber, not any other chamber. They're bound by the rules of this chamber, not any other chamber. We voted on. Certainly, I was asked to vote on the Lord Mayor's motion. I mean, I have another motion down in my own name, but I was asked to vote on the Lord Mayor's motion and the motions And the motions from 309 to 3042.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, Manager, and just people need to just take it a little bit slowly. And at the beginning of this, we clearly indicated that 3039 to 3042 was covered by this vote, and that was a roll call vote. We have already taken a number of motions together that covered it. I do accept that the senior counsel is, but we must operate in a logical position. We just took motions 3033 to 3036, and we didn't individually. So I'm just saying it is quite obvious and natural justice. We had a roll call vote on 3039. It was defeated. So therefore, that the 3042, the Z15 in Smith, Kieran Perry and John Collins is accepted. Otherwise, this whole thing becomes a nonsense, and we vote on every single motion.
Okay, we'll press on.
Sorry, Lord Mayor, again, just in a matter of clarity, 3042 and 3043 was not voted on in that grouping because it gave security if it had been accepted. So therefore, both when 3039 to 3042 has been dealt with by the vote, 3043 and 3044 falls. Yes.
Okay. There's a proposal. Will we continue till 10 o'clock?